Hello, brothers and sisters. Hey, thanks for joining. With all of the really serious nonsense that I've been talking about lately on free speech and misconduct by the police and shootings in the US, I came across this story and thought it might be time to do something a little bit lighter. So this is about a 3-minute clip. Let's watch it. It looks like there's a Fox Sports radio host named Clay Travis from Outkick, and he is talking to someone on CNN about the White House stands by a call to fire an ESPN host over a supremacist remark. So let's watch this little bit of free speech. And again, it's a little lighter than the other stuff, but I think it's good to remind everybody that there's a lot of things that are free speech.
And that had absolutely nothing to do with sports. And they said, look, you can't have this opinion. It's too conservative. We're not going to allow it.
Yes, you're not allowed to have this opinion. It's too conservative. We're not going to allow it. It seems like ESPN or someone like that have been saying that. I don't know the context of who he's talking about there. So this discussion they're having is all about free speech. So let's hear a little more of this free speech.
I think that's a bad move. I'm a First Amendment absolutist.
Now, he's a First Amendment absolutist. I am not. There are certain things you shouldn't be allowed to say, and it's things like inciting violence. I do believe children need to be protected, and you shouldn't be able to say something that's defamatory and untrue at the same time. So I do think there are some limits on speech. I also wouldn't allow people to burn the Quran or anyone's holy books, the Bible, and I also wouldn't allow someone to burn the flag of the country they're in. I think all of those rise to the level of incitement of violence, but that is not the law today in the US or the UK. And most of my viewers are in the US or the UK. He's an absolutist. Okay, let's see what else he has to say absolutely.
I believe in only two things completely, the First Amendment and boobs. And so once they made the decision that they were not going to allow a conservative, non-sports-related commentary, they couldn't do it either.
Hold on. I just want to make sure I heard you correctly as a woman anchoring the show. Did you say, what did you just say? You believe in the First Amendment and BOOBs?
Boobs. Two things that have only never let me down in this entire country's history, the First Amendment and boobs.
I think he did say only two things that have never let him down in this country is the First Amendment and boobs. But I think he's being sly and making a kind of a Z sound, so it might be booze, but she heard it. And I think there's shock on her face. And I don't know who she is, but it's still funny.
So those are the only two things I believe in absolutely in the country. And so I don't think Jemele Hill should be fired, but I do think straight up that once you make the decision that you are going to let Kurt Schilling go, that you have to also make the decision that you're going to let Jemele Hill go. I think that's a bad...
And a serious discussion, and he right in the middle of it is talking about boobs, and it just completely destroyed her train of thought. Whatever questions she was going to ask him, they are just out the window. And that might have been his plan.
Decision. I think ESPN has made bad decisions that have led to 13 million subscribers bailing on the network. They've made bad decisions that have led to ratings collapsing. Jemele Hill's television show is collapsing. Ratings were down 20% last week over last year. I think that's why she's angry. I think that's why she went after Donald Trump. She's begging for ESPN to fire her so she can work somewhere else.
Okay. Keith?
I think she really wants to get back to that boobs comment. I think once he said that, her brain turned off and she stopped listening to anything else that he said. But it seemed like a lucid argument.
What do you think?
Listen, I'm astonished at almost everything I just heard.
Me too. I agree with you.
One of the things that, and Jamele's a personal friend, not just a colleague, but a personal friend. One of the things that Jemele's had to deal with her entire career, and many women who I'm friends with in this business and have been friends with in this business for a long time, is sexism, blatant sexism, comments about her appearance, comments about her racially, comments about her inability or perceived inability to be able to comment on sports because of her gender.
All right, he's a male Karen. He's coming around and being offended on this female's behalf. and beating around the bush on it a little bit. But he's really offended by the boobs comment, I think, and we're going to get to that in a minute. I think he's just winding up to it.
So for somebody to come on CNN and to say something like the only thing I believe in a discussion about something
I'm still there too, and I just want to make sure I'm hearing you correctly. BOOZE or BOOBS? Because as a woman, I'm
as in boobs. I believe completely in the First Amendment and in boobs. Those are the only two things I believe 100% in this country. And by the
yeah, it sounded more like boobs that time, and these two are still like stuck on that.
way, Jamel has absolutely nothing to do with her
live on
background
CNN,
at all. Immediately, did you notice that?
Hey, you must have invited him. You or your producers invited this guy. She could end the interview right now and kick him off, but she wants to get to the bottom of this boobs thing.
He went straight to that.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I did go straight to that
why would
because
you even say that live on national television and with a female host?
I say it live on the
even
radio
go
all the
there?
time because it's true, and that's what I do.
And that's right. It's called freedom of speech. He can say anything he wants, for the most part. And then there's consequences. They can kick him off. They can never invite him back on. So he definitely did this on purpose because they were having a discussion about free speech, and they walked right into his trap. They don't actually see what he just did there. He was really exploring their boundaries of what they consider okay in free speech, and they're really failing the test. What it appears to me is they're trying to stick up for their friend and say, hey, their friend, she should have been able to say what she said without the White House coming up and trying to cancel her. So he's come and decided to throw the boobs comment in and say, see, I should be able to say boobs on CNN. And that they don't get it. They don't get it. It's funny.
Because I like boobs and the First Amendment, which is exactly what I said.
Let me know what you guys think in the comments. This was an extreme example. It was funny, but it's an example of where somebody decided he would test the limits in a funny way on free speech. And really what he found out was these two free speech defenders weren't really free speech defenders. They were defending their friend because they didn't like what happened to their friend. Fair enough. But they actually don't care about free speech because they got all offended by something this guy said. And they walked right into that trap. And I thought this was a little bit lighter, a little more levity than the stuff I normally do. I just got a chuckle out of it. I hope you guys liked it. Let me know what you guys think. Like and subscribe if you like this, and don't watch it if you don't. Thanks. Bye.